Hey, good morning everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for February 8th, 2017. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. Right now we're holding in a narrow range from 2280 and 2282 up to about 2295. We really haven't gotten outside of that range here recently, and over the last several days 2282 has been a zone where bulls have looked to defend right above that area. And there are now sell stops below that zone. So if there's any push through 2282, 2280, we could be looking at a push back toward recent support at around 2260s and into that 2257 key level. So right now we got to see how does it play out here over the next few hours. Is price push through 2280? If so, we could be looking at a push right back down. We continue to remain within a range from 2300 to about 2260, with that 2280 being right in that midpoint. And overall holding in the upper end of this range. If there's going to be a failure to get to new highs, then you're likely going to see price trade in the lower distribution of this range between 2257 and 2280. So again, watch that pivot today. That could be a key level to open up some floodgates to the lower downside of this range. If we take a look here at the intraday time frame, here it is. Overall, you can see that price has pushed up to these highs. That's about 92s and 91 quarters, and it failed. Prices below the previous session's low has been bid up, and right now we're right back at it. So there's a range that's building out. And again, 2284, 2292 is a nice little range at the moment. Could be a fade new lows and fade new highs type of day around this range, with obviously that 2282 zone down below. That's going to be very important. You can see this LVN right at 2280. Here's 82s. So again, that's going to be very important. Bulls want to keep that area bid. Any failure to hold it would open up perhaps a 15 to 20 handle decline over the next day or two. All right, let's take a look at crude oil. Here's crude. Here's a higher time frame of crude. One thing that's very interesting about this one is obviously we've been in a range for some time. This range has spanned the last 2 to 3 months. You can see 55s on this upper end, 51 or 50-70 on this lower end, and price has basically been trading within that range. Recently, we've been trying to see if crude can see acceptance above 54s, and every time it reaches 54s, it's been rotated back down. And that's what we were looking for this last time around, was watching 54s to see how would price respond. We knew that below 53.40 would open up a potential push back toward recent support, and that's what we got yesterday. We dropped right into 51.76, an FOMC key level, and then we got down even lower into about 51.22 here this morning. So a very nice push downward. What we've seen here recently is up toward the upper end of this range, we've seen price kind of hang a little while longer before rotating downward. But once price gets to this lower edge, we see price do a much quicker bounce back toward 53s. So 53 is composite VPOC and micro composite VPOC for this range. If price fails to see any acceptance below 51.67, then we could be looking at a bounce right back toward 53s very, very soon. So we're going to see if this remains a rejection day or this price start to hunt a little lower. As I mentioned in our trading room, trading down toward 50.70 and especially 50.40, that could offer a big time area to buy as well on a swing basis, as 50.40 is a major CLVN and that 50.70 is the previous month's low. So getting into this low could also offer a nice opportunity to rally back toward 53s. All right, let's take a look at the intraday time frame. Here it is on an intraday basis. You can see that price dropped in overnight, trading here 51.23 and has rallied since then, with VWAP being a little higher, pullbacks to VWAP being defended. So right now a little bit of a push higher. 51.54, 51.50, this zone right here is where they're looking to defend. So any pullback into that 51.50 zone will offer bulls opportunities to buy back up, and any push through 52s could finally get this thing back toward recent highs, 52.30. So right now the object is for bulls to look to defend 51.50 short term for a shot higher, and you got to be able to push through those recent highs at 52. So that's the zone right now. Any failure to hold 5150 will start to push into the tail of the overnight trade, and that could hunt for new lows. All right, let's take a look here at ZB. ZB has been quite strong here recently, trending up. If we look at the higher time frame for ZB, one thing we've been talking about is how 149.12 is an area that was rejected, and then right up here 149.24 is where bulls have been defending. When I mentioned before, bulls are defending on one side, bears were defending on another. Whichever side wins is where you're going to see the energy flow out of. So bulls were able to keep this thing bid and push through that 151.11. The previous session was defended off the mid and rallied higher, and we're still pushing up. So as I mentioned before, bulls down here that we're defending, we're looking to run the stops above 151.11s for a shot at bringing it back to MCVPOC. That's 153.21. So right now at the moment, the expectation is that we continue higher toward 153.21. Any pullback into 151 from above will likely be seen as a buying opportunity for a continuation. So right now, the objective is to continue buying dips as this thing continues toward 153.21. Once you get up into this zone, and as high as 154s, this is where traditionally here over the last 3 months, bears have come in to defend. Profit taking has also come in. So that may be a spot to look to defend for a rotation back toward 151s. But first things first, we look like we're going this way. So any pullbacks could be a buying opportunity to that end into 153.21. On an intraday basis, there it is. Looking at an intraday basis, you can see how bullish it's been overall. Very nice trending market, even when things like the ES are trading kind of sideways throughout most of the day. ZB has been very, very nice in terms of its movement. Very fluid, great channel. Any pullback right now, again, into 151.11, or perhaps into this LVN, could still be a great buying opportunity on the way up within this channel toward that 153s. So right now, looking for any pullback could still be a buying opportunity, but the fluidity of this price movement has been very, very nice. And this personality will likely continue to persist until proven otherwise. So any pullbacks could be a great buying opportunity for a continuation higher. Lastly, let's take a look at the NQ. Bringing up the higher time frame of the NQ, it's been quite bullish here overall. Very, very strong trend. You can see it's been pushing higher to new highs, and every pullback has been a buying opportunity still. Here's the recent high, about 151.65s or so. Price is pushing above that zone, getting into 51.92. At the moment, again, should we see another pullback, perhaps into 51.20 or even this 51.30 previous close, that could offer an opportunity to buy it yet again for a continuation. Pullbacks have not been very steep here recently, especially to begin the year. We've had a one-day move here, a one-day move here, kind of a two-day pullback, a one-day. So we've seen nothing but strength overall. So if this does pull back on a 1 or 2 day basis, that might be all we get for a shot at continuous this thing higher. The next upside target, as we mentioned before, was 5,200. We're very, very close to that target, got within 8 handles. And then the next targets up will be based off the PivotBoss pivots, 52.46, 53.14, and even higher. So right now, again, buying pullbacks is still the way to go with the NQ. If we take a look at the intraday time frame, here you go. On an intraday basis, you can see right now there's a nice little LVN at 51.65. That's where the stops came out the previous session, became our key level in the trading room, pushed this thing right through that area, and then came back and formed a range to close the session between 51.72 and 51.90. As I mentioned with some of the others, like ZB, if this thing pulls back into that support, prior resistance turn to support, that could be a great buying opportunity for bulls. So right now, 51.65 is a great LVN. If we see that area, look for bulls to defend it for a shot at rotating back toward highs 51.92. So that could be a great day trade that actually turns into more of a swing trade as this thing continues into 5,200 and perhaps even higher. At the moment, we have a nice trading range that's going on. So it's a fade new highs, fade new lows with a bullish bias, which means it's easier to buy down here at support than it is to sell up here, although selling new highs is still a tactic you can use. You just have to be, you have to know that you're counter trend trading, and you also have to manage your risk in a much better quality up here, because eventually what can happen is a squeeze will likely ensue. So right now, buying pullbacks is the better option in this range, but we also have a trading range with a great balanced trade. So we can look to fade up here and buy back up here with 5180 being VPOC at the moment. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. We do have crude oil inventories later on today at 9:30 Central, so that'll be something that we can watch for a little bit of potential volatility with regards to crude. All right, let's see how it plays out the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well.